start off today's giant set one, we're going to be doing pull-ups. We're going to do wide grip pull-ups. The grip, start facing the machine, is a wide grip. Lock your thumbs underneath the bar and then pull yourself up, squeezing the shoulder blades at the top. You can go back there. Slow and controlled the whole time. You can lock your feet at the bottom, especially if you're taller. It'd be better to do that so you don't hit the ground. And then when you pull yourself up, make sure you're leading with the chest and you try and get your chin over the bar and relax. Now, if you're not quite there for the pull-ups, for those of you who are still practicing on that strength, you can use the red bar and walk your feet underneath and then pull yourself to the bar, still squeezing the shoulder blades. So you're building that strength still until you can get to that level where you can do the pull-ups up on the pull-up bar. All right, for the leg movement in this giant set, you're gonna be doing standing leg curls. The setup is your back's to the machine and you're facing forward. You wanna be having the red bar right in the meat of your calf, and then you're just pulling your ankle to your butt. The range of motion is really small. You're focusing on just activating the hamstring enough to keep it stretched the whole time. There's no rest period in this. After 10 reps, then you go and switch and you do the other leg. It's important to also keep the toe pointed up towards the knee when you're doing the movement. Don't let your ankle get lazy at any point. All right, now the compound movement. The compound movement is a little of a doozy. You're gonna be doing a Bulgarian squat hop. So you're gonna add your plyo movement into this one, into a push-up using this bar here. So for the movement, just set up like a Bulgarian squat, which just means the leg's gonna be elevated behind you. Hop out in front. You're gonna start with a hop in the movement, bring your hands down to a push-up, drive that hopping foot back to the bar, push up, and bring that same leg forward into a hop again. Ten, go ahead, switch, same thing. Go out far enough to give yourself some space, do the little hop down to the push-up. Bring yourself up with the same hopping foot forward, and then 10 more. All right, for the ab movement in this giant set, you're going to be doing a hanging leg twist, but we're just doing our knees to the opposite shoulder. So you're going to be setting up with the wide grip, letting yourself hang. Bring your knees together and drive it to the opposite. Down, switch, and down. When you're doing this, you're pulling your belly button back to the spine, really activating those abs. And when you bring your knees up, you're crunching that side and extending on the other oblique side. Perfect. Woohoo! All right, now giant set 2, you're gonna be starting on the ground with the chest movement. So we're going to set up like a bench press, and you're just doing one arm bench press off of the bar. So you're gonna lay flat. You're going to hold it first where you would normally do bench press, and then let go with one arm. From there, you're just pressing the bar up to where your arms extended and slowly bringing it back down to your chest. It's important that the elbow never goes above your shoulder, otherwise it becomes a grounded shoulder press. You want to make sure it stays below the shoulder line, that way you're working your chest. You're going to do 10 reps on this side, and then you just switch and do 10 reps on the other arm. Same placement, just where your bench press would be. Don't move that hand closer, and control the bar the whole time. For the leg movement, you're going to be working the mobility in your hips. So this changes depending on how tall you are. For someone my height, which is around 5'7", you're going to move it up to probably like 17. 17 is pretty high. Is based off of how flexible you are in your hips. If you're really flexible, you can move the bar lower. All you're doing is just a side squat underneath the bar. So you start with your feet together, then you take a nice wide step, bending at the same time, and you're lowering yourself under the bar so you don't hit your head. Then bring your feet together and then reset, step again, bend underneath, bring it back up. So you're gonna be doing 10 each side. So 10 facing forward and then 10 facing this way. So for me, this is good, but for someone who's taller, he will have to raise it a little bit higher. So feet together, he'll step underneath, lower himself under, and bring it back up. For the compound movement today, in this second giant set, we're really focusing on the Olympic move, which is the clean and press. We're gonna be doing it on the ground, kneeling. And since this is a Smith machine, you have to really kind of just focus, which is poor Olympic form, so note that. You have to focus on just the upper body doing the full movement. So you're gonna go from the upright row, bring it up to about chest level, then you're going to pull your elbows underneath the bar and do a press. When you do a press, make sure your head goes through the arm window and then bring it back down underneath you. So your palms will start facing the back of the machine and then they end facing out away from the machine. To continue with that little CrossFit flair, we're going to go into burpees for the plyo movement. Burpees for this movement, we're just going to do the one where you start with your chest on the ground, do that type of push-up. Nothing too complicated. You're going to go from chest to ground, drive your feet up, little hop off the ground, and then back down. So you're going to do 10 here just to keep your heart rate nice and high, and then you're good to go from there to the ab movement. All right, for the ab component of this is another CrossFit move actually. It's the Turkish get up. Now you probably have seen the Turkish get up in the CrossFit competitions with the kettlebell. People do it with the dumbbell. We're going to be using the cable. I have tried it with the bar. It's not so good because you need to be able to move your body a little bit more than the bar allows, so do it with the cable. Make sure it's nice and light, so you don't want to be pulling the shoulder too much. To set up for the Turkish get up, the side of the body that's working, which means the side that will have the cable, will be the side that you start with the knee bent. So you're going to start on the ground, your knees bent, lock your elbow out and keep the arm, your hand over your shoulder as much as possible throughout the whole movement. So step one is having your hand out to an angle. You're going to push yourself up onto the elbow first, so you're right here. Step two, you're going to go up onto your hand and drive your hips up. From there, step three is driving the knee back underneath your body and lifting yourself up. So now only your knees touching and your foot's touching. From here is the last step, you're just standing up and bringing your feet together. So that's half of the movement. Now you gotta bring yourself back down. Take a nice big step back, lower yourself down to the ground. So you're back from that lunge position. Take your hand down onto the ground, kick your leg back out, up onto the heel, and you're extending your hips up again. And then you're going down, butt on the ground, elbow on the ground, and then lower yourself all the way down. And that's one rep. You're gonna do 5 of these on one side, and then switch to the other side. This is an advanced move, so if you can't quite get it, just practice the movements without the cable. That's quite of a workout in itself. And then you can add the cable as you get stronger and more confident in the movement.